Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Late Wednesday night, Brian Kelly, the LSU Tigers, for lack of better terms, they shocked the world, landing the commitment of five-star defensive back DJ Pickett. Now, I have to be the first one, raise my hand and say, I kind of missed, right? We talked earlier this week, and from everything that you read, it kind of sounded like it was coming down to Oregon, the Miami Hurricanes, and a lot of the LSU fans. You guys let me know in the comment section that LSU was still a contender in this recruitment. Come Wednesday night, they get it done. This is a massive commitment for a couple of different reasons. One, we all know the struggles that LSU has had in the defensive back room. Now, we expect that to change with defensive coordinator Blake Baker coming in, but we've talked extensively about LSU on the recruiting trail. You look at all the talent that they're accumulating on the offensive side of the football. We kind of feel good that this LSU offense is going to be a top 10 unit in the country for the next couple of years, right? Not only in 2024, but as Bryce Underwood comes in, it's really hard to see LSU's offense not being at the top end of college football. I think the big question that we had was, can LSU's defense take big enough steps to really emerge as a national championship level contender? A guy like DJ Pickett certainly goes a long way in helping that. Now, you combine Blake Baker and DJ Pickett, that's a fascinating combination because we all know Blake Baker, not only a phenomenal developer of talent in the defensive back room, I think even more importantly, he just knows how to use his players. And you look at DJ Pickett and say, this kid's a unicorn. I mean, kids like DJ Pickett do not grow on trees. At 6'4", 180 pounds, running a 10.6 in the 100-meter dash. This is one of the more rare athletes we've seen come from the high school level, a guy that can play boundary cornerback, guy that can play the free safety role. This is a massive get for LSU. And you take a look at the 2025 cycle, they took a hit, losing the commitment to Corey and Moore. You look back up at where LSU is, they are still a top 5 class in 2025. Want to get into DJ Pickett, talk about what he brings to this LSU defense. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. And it has been an absolute blast breaking down commitments over the last couple of weeks. Many of you guys know this is something that I love about the sport of college football, talking talent acquisition, talking the recruiting trail. I can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into DJ Pickett. Now, the first thing I absolutely love is just a premier athlete. This is a kid that's a 4-sport athlete and a legitimate athlete at all 4 sports, right? Obviously, phenomenal football player, runs a 10.6 in the 100-meter dash, is a phenomenal basketball player and baseball player. So at the end of the day, we are starting with a premier athlete in the class of 2025. And we talk about this all the time. You look at the sport of football, it's a height, weight, speed game. You want to get the best athletes on your football team. DJ Pickett is one of those rare athletes. Now, excuse me, the second thing that I absolutely love about DJ Pickett is the position versatility. This is a guy that legitimately could be an all-SEC boundary cornerback. He could be an all-American caliber free safety. You have a lot of different ways that you can involve DJ Pickett in this defense, and you continue to talk about getting your best players on the football field at the same time. Having a guy like DJ Pickett that can be a high-end player both at the safety and cornerback spot, that's absolutely massive. Now, you look at him before we get into the film as a boundary cornerback, this kid is kind of built in a lab, right? 6'4", 180 pounds, really, really long arms. You talk about a cornerback that can operate in press man coverage, that's DJ Pickett. I mean, he can put his long hands on opposing wide receivers, control them at the line of scrimmage, and then with the 10.6 100-meter dash, there's not a wide receiver that can run by DJ Pickett vertically down the field. We talk about this all the time, specifically in the SEC. You're seeing some really freaky wide receivers. LSU certainly knows about freaky wide receivers themselves. You need freaky cornerbacks to deal with those wide receivers. DJ Pickett's one of those guys. And so as a boundary cornerback, I think DJ Pickett could be elite. Now, I personally think he's going to be the best at the safety position because his range and his frame, it's just special. Again, we don't see many guys like this. Kind of reminds you of Kyle Hamilton coming out of high school, where you're getting this massive frame that runs a 10.6 in the 100-meter dash. You talk about playing a single high safety and relying on DJ Pickett to command so much space in the back end. You can put DJ Pickett in those kind of situations because of the length, because of the long speed. This is a guy that when he is dropping back in a deep zone, reading the quarterback size, and then just go hawking the football, when you watch the film, that seems to be where he's at his best. So he's a safety that you can trust in that single high look. You can walk him into the box, have him operate in man coverage as a nickel corner. You can put him in the box and have him support and run game because of his size and frame. He's the most versatile defensive back that we see in the country in the 2025 class. Again, he can play multiple positions, but if you stick him at safety, he can do just so many different things. I mean, DJ Pickett is a guy that you can really build a secondary around. You get into the film, and the film's a blast to watch. I think the first thing you want to talk about is just how comfortable he is sitting back in those deep zones, those deeper thirds, and just reading the quarterback size. I mean, this is where he excels. And what I think really interests me is that not only the physical traits are all there, you can see that on the film, the instincts, the ability to know where he needs to be and read quarterback size, be at the right place at the right time every single time. That's something that stands out with DJ Pickett as well. Obviously, making a play on the football, you see the juice that he has on the return game. You talk about an athlete that at 6'4", 180, yes, he runs in a straight line extremely well. You talk about being fluid in the ankles and hips. He's also that. That's probably the biggest question you have. Again, this is what I love most when you're just saying, hey, we're going to put you in that deeper third. We're going to let you keep your eyes on the quarterback. And when that football's in the air, go get it. The range, the frame, the instincts, it's all there. He's consistently just hawking down footballs. And that's something that you really want for LSU in the back end. We know Blake Baker wants to be aggressive on the defensive side of the football. When you have a free safety that you trust to be that single high safety where you can put people in the box, send pressure on the quarterback, that's massive. And then you see the ball skills. Again, basketball, baseball background, you talk about tracking a football in the air and then using that 6'4" frame to go up and make a play. DJ Pickett can do that as well. I mean, you turn on the film and say, this kid can do so many different things in a back end of a defense. You see the 10-6 speed in the 100-meter dash on the film. This was a kid that caught for over 1,000 yards on the offensive side of the football too. Just to get a feel for the juice that he brings to the table, he could be an elite wide receiver for LSU if he wanted to as well. That's just the kind of athlete that we're looking at with DJ Pickett. And you look at the 2025 class, and it's been kind of a rocky road. I remember us talking about LSU early January saying there's a chance that LSU finishes with the #1 class in the country. Any way you cut it, this is going to be one of the better classes that LSU has seen in the last couple of years. Brian Kelly certainly getting it done on the high school ranks, and you felt like this one is massive for LSU. And I think another thing that stands out is they're checking a lot of boxes, right? You have the #1 player, the #1 quarterback in the country in Bryce Underwood. Now you add a just difference maker, for lack of better terms, in DJ Pickett in the secondary. They did a really nice job along the line of scrimmage. Guys like Damian Shanklin, LaJesse Harrell, two very, very high upside edge rushers. You continue to scroll down. Devin Harper from Louisiana, very good offensive lineman. Carius Kern as well. They're addressing both sides of the line of scrimmage. You have your elite quarterback. Now you have the best defensive back in the country in DJ Pickett. There's not many boxes that LSU's not checking in the 2025 class. So not only are they bringing in a very, very good class in 2025, they're addressing every single position and every single position group on the football field as well. Very good class for LSU. The defense is certainly, from a talent acquisition standpoint, trending in the right direction. Brian Kelly obviously brings in Blake Baker. I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about where this LSU program is going over the next 3 years. A massive, massive win on the recruiting trail for LSU. We'll cut it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all